Good afternoon, traders. My name is Tomasz Wiśniewski and I'm a Chief Analyst in Alpari Research and Analysis, and this is daily analytical report with Alpari. Luckily, we have rich calendar today, and some significant events happened in the morning yesterday. We are still under influence of yesterday FOMC from yesterday. We are still digesting this movement, and we got meeting minutes from ECB just recently, which also were influential and brought increased volatility on the market. Apart from that, we got even the data from Eurozone, important data about retail sales from UK. So as you can see, the calendar is pretty rich today, and still we have data to come. So let me show you that. Let me show you maybe the calendar first. As always, as you can see, data from UK retail sales was kind of mixed. Retail sales excluding fuels were higher, were bigger than expected, but the number, but the overall number was worse. Now, what is happening on the British pound is that British pound is weaker, American dollar. On the cable, British pound is weaker, American dollar is a bit stronger. Also, we got CPI from Eurozone, which came in line with expectations. As you can see, also mixed. Month over month were worse, year over year was better, trade balance was better. And just recently we got ECB monetary policy meeting accounts, which I will explain you what happened in a greater detail in a second. But still to come, what do we have is industrial production from US and speeches from Kaplan and Kashkari, FOMC members, and also as usually on Thursday, initial jobless claims. So that's the data still to come. Tomorrow, what we'll have is data for important data for Canada, for Canadian dollar, and also for oil traders, Baker Hughes, US oil rig count. So that's it about the calendar. Yesterday we had FOMC. FOMC was perceived as dovish. That is why the American dollar got stronger. But that was yesterday. Today, American dollar got weaker. I'm sorry, and that was yesterday. And today, American dollar is stronger again. What was in those minutes? Well, most participants expected inflation to pick up over the next couple of years and to stabilize around the 2% objective over the medium term. However, many participants saw some likelihood that inflation might remain below 2% for longer than the currently expected, and several indicated that the risk to the inflation outlook could be titled to the downside. Okay, also there was an observation that some other participants were more worried about risks arising from a labor market that had already reached full employment and was projected to tighten further from the easing in financial conditions. About the balance sheet, several members favored an announcement in the July meeting, but most preferred to defer the decision to the next meeting in September. Okay, so this was perceived as a dovish statement, but now we are back with the strength of the American dollar. As I said just recently, we had ECB minutes where we got concerns about euro overshooting, which dragged euro to the session lows. It was in those minutes it was noted that concerns were expressed about the risk of the exchange rate overshooting in the future. Okay. There were also few clues on future policy. Obviously, I'm quoting that reports. On the other hand, there were a risk that financial conditions could tighten to a degree that was not warranted by the improvement in economic conditions and the outlook for inflation. In this context, the point was made that looking ahead, the Governing Council needed to gain more policy space and flexibility to adjust policy and the degree of monetary policy accommodation if and when needed in either direction. About euro, the appreciation of the euro to date could be seen in part as reflecting changes in relative fundamentals in the euro area vis-à-vis the rest of the world. But concerns were expressed about the risk of the exchange rate overshooting in the future, as we said. So the first reaction was negative for euro. I think that just before we started this daily analytical report, the euro came back to the levels seen before that. But I will turn on the charts right now. Yes, as you can see, this is reaction, and we are on the same levels as before that. So just stop loss orders were taken, nothing else. But let me start with the cable. As you can see, a choppy reaction after the retail sales data, but in overall American dollar is a bit stronger. What we are having here is a sideways trend restricted by this green line from the top and by this green line from the bottom. That sideways trend is not in a random place because it's on a trend line, and it can indicate a willingness for the price to break the trend line, which can be potentially dangerous. But I would say that as long as we are above 38.2 Fibonacci level, we should be relatively safe. So buyers should be relatively safe, because we do have strong support here. Support created by those price movements, support created by 38.2 Fibonacci level, and support created by a correction equality pattern, potentially, which can emerge here. And we wouldn't be so far from the trend line, so still a bounce from this level can bring us back above the uptrend line, right? So as long, in my opinion, as long as we stay above 38.2 Fibonacci level, we should be relatively safe. Next one is American dollar to Canadian dollar, and it happened what was expected by us, so a breakout of the lower line of the flag. A flag marked here with yellow colors, that's a downtrend. Flag is a trend continuation pattern, and as you can see, it's not the first time that we had a flag here, right? That's a flag, that's a flag here. So actually it's the third flag. It's also a bit smaller here, and all of them resulted in a downswing, and it happened here as well. Also it was like kind of a double top formation here on 23.6, which in overall gave a negative sentiment here in the price decline, and the sentiment is still negative. There's a bigger chance that the price will continue to go down than the price to reverse. American dollar to Swiss franc is struggling in the sideways trend. There's still this buy signal created by this bullish engulfing on those horizontal supports is present, but this buy signal is fading. Actually, we are more or less in the same place where this signal was triggered, because this signal was triggered The signal was triggered here, so now we are 7 pips lower, and I'm not a big fan of this position anymore. So if I had this long position here, I would close it right now, because it's not working out. It wouldn't be a big loss, 7 pips, especially that potential stop loss was 260 pips. So this situation right now does not look bullish anymore. Euro to American dollar made new monthly lows. Actually, I said that session lows, but monthly lows. We are on the lowest levels since in August. But we are still in a flag formation. We are still above the highs from the 2016, which are marked with this lower line of this rectangle. Highs from one top from 2015 is labeled by the upper line of this rectangle. It's a still trend continuation pattern, this flag. We are still in a bullish trend. There's a one trend line, but there is also another one, as you can see here, more important because it's longer term. So definitely, as long as we stay above the green line, the sentiment is positive. And actually, look at that. That's potentially a nice place to buy. It's a combination of three supports: long-term uptrend line, lower line of the flag, and lows and highs from 2016. It will be seen here better. Here, lower line of this rectangle are highs from 2016, which after the breakout they may be used as a closest support. So we still have this support because now the price is back above, and the next one is here. So that's the situation on euro dollar. Australian dollar to American dollar. As expected by us yesterday, we broke the upper line of the flag. The price climbed higher, used this local resistance as a support after the breakout. And also look at that, we used a combination similar on euro dollar, right? Look, uptrend line, lower line of the flag, and a previous support, for example from here. But as you can see, also highs from 2016, pretty remarkable if you ask me. So those setups on euro dollar and Australian dollar to American dollar are really similar. Again, uptrend line, lower line of the flag, and a horizontal support, all in one place, and it resulted in a strong upswing. So that is why I'm thinking that here it can result with a similar effect, with a similar result. Uptrend line, horizontal support, and lower line of the flag. Definitely, I will be waiting here, waiting for a bullish price action, and if I will see a demand fighting for the higher levels, I will try to open a long position on my live trading account. Euro to Japanese yen. They didn't hold this neckline. They didn't hold above this line connecting recent lower highs, so we can remove it. The sentiment is no longer it stays positive as long as we are above. Sentiment is positive as long as we are above the green area, but there's no buy signal here. And actually, we are getting closer to the sell signal, left shoulder, head, and right shoulder. Once the price will break this green line, the sell signal will be triggered. American dollar to Mexican peso, just continuation of the signal created by the price declining below this horizontal support and bouncing from this lower line of the wedge. So just a sell signal is present here. American dollar to Japanese yen. To be honest with you, no trading signal for me here. Situation is not clear, and I like when the situation is clear, because we bounced off with this 38.2. We went back again below the lower line of the triangle, but the price is not staying there. If the price was relatively low, there was no long tail here, I would see a good sell signal here. But as the price is coming back, they're pulling the price up. I think that there's no good trading signal here. And silver. So we had this pennant. Pennant was a trend continuation pattern, but it did not result with a trend continuation. And as you can see, traders use this downtrend line. Okay, it's a downtrend line, and they use this as a support. So main principle of the price action trading: broken resistance here became a support here, and the price went back above ultra important support on 16.8. And again, as long as we stay above this level, the sentiment on silver is positive. As we talk about silver, now let me show you gold, because that's a good one. We made double bottom formation on 23.6 Fibonacci, but also it was a correction equality pattern. As you can see, this correction in terms of depth, also almost the same as this one, actually, to be more accurate. Let's do it like that. I just copy from the top. Okay, it's almost the same. This one is slightly deeper. Double bottom formation, bounce from 23.6, correction equality pattern. We are above the downtrend line here, and we are on a good way to test those highs from April and from June. This is generally, this can be considered as a very strong resistance. It's an area slightly below the psychological barrier of $1,300 per ounce. The price coming back above this level can be a very positive sign. S&P 500, after this V-shape retracement, what do we have here is a rectangle, horizontal resistance, horizontal support, but we are above the channel up, lower line of the channel up. We are above this horizontal support. I think that in general, for the long-term situation, as long as we stay above the gray area, the sentiment is positive. As long as we stay above the red uptrend line, the sentiment is still positive. Euro to Australian dollar, and that breakout here of the upper line of the flag can be considered as a false breakout. This can be considered as a false breakout. We broke the trend line. We shouldn't need that resistance now. This one as well. This one got broken. This one is about to get broken. So the sentiment is again negative. The closest aim for this movement can be here. 38.2 Fibonacci uptrend line. Also, you can see it was respected here and here and here and here. So that's potentially a nice support where the price can but does not have to bounce. But we will keep that on the chart and we will see we will be definitely ready. British pound to Japanese yen, they had a chance for the inverse head and shoulder formation, but they failed, and now they're paying price for that. The sentiment is negative. There is a sell signal on British pound to Japanese yen, in my opinion. New Zealand dollar to Japanese yen, they are still defending this buy signal created by a breakout of the neckline of this inverse head and shoulder formation, but it does not look so good. I think that there is a big chance that the signal will fail and the price will decline. But for me, there is no buy or sell signal here whatsoever, so not an interesting place to be at the moment. American dollar to Polish zloty. I was waiting for the price to get to this resistance. Maybe it will happen. But in general, as long as we stay below the green resistance and in a channel down formation, the sentiment is negative. And let me show you this dollar index. You can see reaction after FOMC is taken down. The price retraced almost everything. The thing is that we are back above 93.8 points support. As long as we stay above this support, the short-term sentiment is positive, but as long as we stay inside of the flag, which is a correction of the downtrend, this long-term sentiment is negative. And as long as we are inside of the flag, we should more expect the breakout of the lower line of the flag than the reversal. WTI, that's a negative one. We marked that yesterday, right? Yesterday we showed you a resistance, which was the uptrend line here, and a horizontal resistance here. And with this thumb up, I showed you that there was no buy signal here, but there would be a buy signal once the price would break the horizontal resistance. And the same was here. The price was climbing higher, many traders were buying. I said, no guys, that's not the best place to buy. Wait for the breakout of the resistance. The price didn't break the resistance, went significantly lower, right? And also here, look, we made a thumb down. Once this resistance will be broken, there will be a sell signal, and look, we are much lower at the moment. The price didn't break this resistance, but instead of that, they broke the support, and a strong one, as you can see, 38.2 Fibonacci level, but also respected recently at the beginning of June, at the beginning of July, in the middle of July. And I like this price action here. Look at that. Breakout of the support, then it was tested as a resistance, and the price bounced and is on new lows. We are on the lowest level since the end of July. We're heading lower. There is a sell signal on oil now as we speak. Also, I would like to show you DAX, because yesterday the price failed to break this upper line of the wedge formation here. This is a wedge in an uptrend. So in theory, wedge is a trend continuation pattern. So there is always a higher chance for to break that upper line, but also we have a combination of two factors here. So this upper line of the wedge, but also horizontal resistance, and ultra important support here at the end of June, support here at the beginning of July. After the breakout, this was resistance, 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 4 times tested, 5th time yesterday, 6th time today. And to be honest with you, I'm not sure if this, with every test, this resistance is getting stronger or weaker, actually. I'm not sure, but one thing I'm sure here that as long as we won't break this resistance here, as long as we won't reach this checkpoint here, there's no buy signal on DAX. Entering now with a long position, in my opinion, would be a bit too risky. Even with this false breakout here, on DAX, I would wait for the price to break that resistance first. I'm not a big fan of entering with a long position in a situation like that. So if you're a buyer, but also at the same time you're looking for more confirmations, you should wait for the breakout first. New Zealand dollar to American dollar. Here we had a nice bounce from the upper line of the flag and the horizontal support here. Well, that I don't want to say that it changes the situation, but creates a nice trading opportunity for the buyers, because you can see that this support was defended. Entering here, stop loss here, gives you quite interesting risk to reward ratio. But if we have this setup, and for example this or others that I mentioned here before that look better, like for example gold, silver, there are much better setups, like for example here Australian dollar to American dollar, then New Zealand dollar to American dollar. Here that can be potentially a good one, because again what we can receive here is something like that. So all eyes on euro dollar. And that was New Zealand dollar to American dollar, euro to British pound. In the combination of weaker euro and weaker pound, we can see that the pound is a bit stronger than euro, so that retail sales was not so bad for the currency as ECB minutes. And now British pound is a bit stronger against euro, but obviously in overall euro is much stronger than British pound. And Australian dollar to Japanese yen, after 2 weeks of a quite sharp drop, we do have a comeback here. Comeback can stop because it reached a 50% Fibo, and it was recently a resistance. It was a support. After the breakout, it can become a resistance. So we can see some traders can expect a bearish reaction here. Actually, I think we can. Yes, there is this correction equality pattern here. It was used, but obviously the potential for this one is 2,000, almost 3,000 pips, right, for this movement. So on Australian dollar to Japanese yen, if there will be a bounce from this resistance, we can expect at least movement here, but some may expect much deeper and deeper movement on this pair. So thank you guys very much for attending daily analytical report. You saw some nice trading setups. I saw some nice trading setups, and definitely I will keep that on my platform, and I will wait, and once I will see a proper reaction, I won't hesitate, and I will trade few setups from those that I mentioned today. If you want more trading setups, you have to visit our Twitter account and our website alpari.news. Thanks very much, and see you tomorrow. And in half an hour, because now we'll have a small break, and after that we'll have a webinar about technical analysis. Thanks very much, and see you.